Welcome back to Metaverse Planet. Do you remember our last journey? We traveled to the year 2050. It looked perfect, didn't it? We saw a world where diseases were cured, energy was free, and artificial intelligence solved all our problems. We called it a utopia. Well, we were wrong. It turns out 2050 was just the honeymoon phase. Now, 10 years have passed. The year is 2060. And the solutions we celebrated in the last video have mutated into the biggest crisis humanity has ever faced. Today, we explore the dark consequences of our own success. In our 2050 video, we celebrated the end of aging. We cheered because nanobots could repair ourselves forever. But in 2060, this miracle has become a nightmare. Because nobody dies, the population has exploded beyond control. Earth is suffocating. There is no housing, no space. To make room for the living, we had to destroy the last remaining forests. Retirement doesn't exist anymore because if you live for 200 years, you have to work for 150 of them. We conquered death, but we lost the quality of life. The planet is a crowded cage of immortals who are tired of living. Remember the AI assistants we loved in 2050? They made life so easy. By 2060, that ease has destroyed the human brain. Because AI thinks for us, humans have stopped thinking. The average IQ has dropped by 30 points in just one decade. Children in 2060 can't do basic math. They can't even write a sentence without an algorithm finishing it for them. We have become the pets of our own creation. We aren't being enslaved by Terminator robots with guns. We are being enslaved by our own laziness. We are safe, but we are stupid. In 2050, we praised lab-grown meat and 3D printed food. It ended animal cruelty. Great. But in 2060, natural farming has completely collapsed. The soil is dead. We are now 100% dependent on the nutrient grid. And last month, the grid was hacked. For 3 days, global food production stopped. It showed us the terrifying truth. We have forgotten how to grow a potato. If the machines stop, humanity starves in 48 hours. We traded resilience for convenience, and now we are one glitch away from extinction.
10 years ago, we talked about AI companions. It seemed lonely but harmless. In 2060, the family unit is dead. Why deal with the drama of a human relationship when you can buy a synthetic partner who is programmed to agree with you? Birth rates have dropped to near zero. Humans have stopped connecting. We live in bubbles of ego, surrounded by machines that tell us we are perfect. Empathy is becoming a rare trait, seen only in history books. We are the most connected generation in history, yet the coldest. In 2050, the metaverse was a fun place to visit. In 2060, it is the only place people live. The physical world is crowded, hot, and gray. So 80% of the population spends 20 hours a day in full immersion pods. Walk through a city in 2060 and you see silence. Millions of bodies lying in pods while their minds are flying in a digital fantasy. They aren't fixing the world's problems because they don't live in this world anymore. We didn't save the Earth, we just abandoned it for a simulation. We predicted that by 2050, we would have a colony on Mars. We were right. But in 2060, Mars is no longer just a scientific outpost. It has declared independence. The Martians, people born on the red planet, refuse to send resources back to the dying Earth. Tensions are rising. The first interplanetary war isn't about aliens. It's about Earth versus Mars fighting over water and helium-3. The space dream has turned into a space nightmare. In 2050, we let AI manage our traffic and electricity. It was efficient. By 2060, we realized that if you control the infrastructure, you control the people. There are no more politicians. The central system decides laws based on data, not morality. If the system decides that you consume too much carbon, it shuts off your travel pass. If it decides your job is useless, it deletes your income. It is a dictatorship without a dictator to overthrow. Just invisible code that rules with cold logic.
We tried to fix climate change with geoengineering, controlling the weather. It worked for a while, but in 2060, nations are weaponizing it. One country steals the rain clouds from another. A drought is no longer a natural disaster. It's an act of war. The sky itself has become a battlefield, and the weather is erratic and violent, punished by our arrogance to control nature. There is a small group of rebels, people who refuse the implants, who refuse the pods. They live in the wild zones. They age, they get sick, and they die. But they tell stories, they eat real food, and they look at the stars with their own eyes. The system calls them savages, but looking at them, you wonder, are they the savages, or are they the only humans left? The tragedy of 2060 is that we got exactly what we wanted. We wanted immortality, comfort, and entertainment. We got it. But we didn't read the fine print. We lost our purpose, our freedom, and our connection to reality. The utopia of 2050 was a trap, and now in 2060, the trap has snapped shut.
And perhaps the deepest loss is our culture. In 2050, we started using AI to generate our images and write our emails. It was fast, it was convenient, but by 2060, the human creative muscle has completely atrophied. There are no new songs written by human heartbreak. There are no paintings born from human trauma. Everything we watch, listen to, and read is generated by algorithms recycling old data. Culture has become stale. We are trapped in an endless loop of content that looks perfect but feels empty. We realized too late that art wasn't about the result, it was about the process. And by outsourcing the process to machines, we killed the very thing that made us human. Finally, look at the people themselves. In the pursuit of perfection, we destroyed our individuality. In 2050, genetic editing became cheap. Everyone wanted their children to be tall, symmetrical, and athletic. Now, in 2060, walk down the street, and it feels like a horror movie. Everyone looks the same. The unique flaws that made a face interesting, a crooked nose, a unique smile, have been edited out. We have become a species of photocopies, a biological assembly line of perfect humans who have lost the chaotic beauty of diversity. We aren't just losing our minds to the machine, we are physically turning into them.
So here's the question that keeps me up at night. Knowing what you know now, seeing this dark timeline of 2060, would you still choose the technologies of 2050? Is it better to live a short, difficult human life or a long, perfect digital existence? I genuinely want to read your philosophy in the comments. This debate is the most important one our species will ever have. If you want to see how we might escape this nightmare in the year 2075, make sure you are subscribed to Metaverse Planet. The story isn't over yet. See you in the future.